Alright, we're going to go back to basics a little bit in this video and look at scaling and transforming layers and objects. And we're just going to point out a couple of things that can confuse or throw people off along the way. So here's a typical example. I've got a logo here that I've pasted into a new document. Now, the first point of confusion can arise when we can click drag and we're actually moving around or dragging our document or canvas. Quite clearly, we're not going to be transforming or scaling anything as we are now. So this is because we have the View tool selected up here. To actually begin manipulating layers, we need to make sure we've got the Move tool selected, like so. And now here's the second point of confusion, and this actually accounts for a lot of scenarios where people are trying to move layers, they're trying to apply effects and use paintbrush work and so on, and nothing is actually happening. It's because we need to actually select a layer. So you'll see here in the Layers panel, I haven't actually got anything highlighted at the moment. If I click this background pixel layer, which is my logo, you'll now see it's highlighted blue, and we have the bounding box up here. So if we want to start moving layers around, it really boils down to two things. One, make sure you have the Move tool selected, and two, make sure you have a layer selected in the Layers panel. Okay, so let's move on to actually transforming and scaling this layer now we've got it selected. We can simply click drag anywhere within the layer, and we'll be able to move it around in our document, which is fair enough. We can also rotate it. Now there are two ways to do this. We can hover over the rotation handle up here, click drag, and we'll rotate it around its center point, like so. Or we can hover over any of the corners and it will offer us the ability to rotate as well. If, while we're rotating, we hold Shift, this will constrain it to 15-degree increments, which is quite useful for getting a precise degrees of rotation. Now, if we want to scale or resize a layer, we can do it by one of two ways. If we grab one of the corners, here, 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 or here, and we click drag, this will allow us to easily resize. Now, doing it this way maintains the layer's aspect ratio, so we won't be scaling it out of proportion. If, however, we were to use one of these handles here, then this does not maintain the aspect ratio. Let me just show you. So you'll see we're stretching it horizontally and then stretching it vertically. Now, at any point, we can simply undo these operations like so to get back to how we were before. And finally, we can also skew an object. So for example, if I hover the mouse over the top resize node here, but it's slightly higher up than the actual node itself, you'll see the icon changes. And it offers us the ability, if we click drag, to skew the object using that point. Again, we can do this vertically as well as horizontally. So if I skew one of these nodes here, you'll see. So using skew, we can actually make some more basic perspective corrections rather than going in and using the more complicated perspective tool. Okay, so once again, I can go to Edit and just undo to get to a good finishing point. We'll place the logo back in the center. And finally, let's just talk briefly about modifier keys and how they affect scaling and transforming. They're quite useful. So again, you'll notice here our layer is deselected. So another way, rather than clicking on it in the Layers panel, is we can simply click the object actually on the document here. Now, when we resize, maintaining the aspect ratio, you'll notice we resize towards the corner that we're dragging on. However, if we hold down the modifier, we can resize about the center of the layer instead. And again, if we're resizing using a corner handle, and for some reason we want to ignore the aspect ratio, we can hold down Shift, and that will unconstrain the ratio. Again, if we let go of Shift, it will dynamically snap back to maintaining the aspect ratio. Okay, so that was just a quick look at scaling and transforming using the Move tool. Hopefully that will help some people out who were struggling and a bit confused with how the whole procedure works. If you have any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to ask on the Affinity forums, and don't forget to check out the other video tutorials. Thank you for watching.